Welcome to subnetting a Class A network using FLSM, example number 2. This time, we need to subnet a Class A network 21000, and the question is, how many Class C networks can we create? Right now, we have a network 21000 where only the first octet represents the network portion. We need to create Class C networks, which means that the first 3 octets will represent the network portion. So the first network here is going to be /8, and that's a Class A network. And the second network is /24, and that's actually a Class C network. Our task here is actually pretty simple. We only need to calculate the number of combinations we can get from these 2 octets in the middle. So in a Class A network, the first octet is going to be the network portion, and we can't change that because that's defined in the requirement. We get a Class A network 21000, and the network portion you can never change. So the only part we can change are these 2 octets in the middle, and that's 2 to the power of 16. So that is our answer. That is the number of Class C networks we can create out of any Class A network. I'm actually going to try and prove that to you. So we're going to look at the binary representation of our network 21000, and we're not going to change the first octet and the last octet. So the first octet we're not going to change because we can't change it. That's what we got in the requirement. So that's our Class A network, and the network portion we can't change. For example, if we're a company or I don't know, an internet service provider or anything like that, and we buy this network. So we are assigned 21000, and we can change the host portion, the original host portion, but we can't change the original network portion. So we're going to use the middle 2 octets as a subnet portion. The first octet is going to be the network portion. The second and the third octet are going to be our subnet portion for our C networks. And then in all of our C networks, the last octet is going to be the host portion. So of course, we're going to be changing the host portion to assign specific IP addresses to specific endpoints or hosts or whatever, but for subnetting purposes, we're not going to change that last octet. So for example, the first Class C subnet is going to be 21000. The second one is going to be 21010. The third one is going to be 21020, etc. It's going to be 2, 3, 4, and then we're going to go all the way to 255 in the third octet. Once we've filled the third octet for the first time, we start changing the second octet. So now the second octet is going to be 1. It's going to be 21100. And then we start filling out the third octet all over again from 1 to 255. Once we've reached 255 for the second time in the third octet, we're going to start increasing the second octet. It's going to go to 2, 3, etc., etc. Our last Class C subnet in this example is going to be 21255 So we're going to go all the way from 21000 to 255 So hopefully you got the point. We start changing the third octet first, and then once we've filled out the third octet for the first time, we change only 1 bit in the second octet. And then we start filling out the third octet all over again. And then when we fill it up again, we change one more time the second octet. And we continue to do that until we get all ones in binary value, of course, in the second and third octet.